Welcome to Present Poetry, a podcast where we sit back, relax, and enjoy some poets of the past and present. I'm your host, Erin Crittenden, and before we get started on this week's episode, I want to remind you that all of the material used in this podcast is either public domain or used with permission from the author or the author's estate. It's a fun time for all ages, so sit back, relax, and get ready to hear this week's featured poet. This week's featured poet is Ikechukwu Iwuagwu. Ikechukwu is an African poet, essayist, screenwriter, and dramatist. A native of Umunkwo in Imo State, Nigeria, his reviews and short stories have appeared in several literary magazines across the world, both online and in print. He was a recipient of an honourable mention in the IHRAF Creators of Justice Award in New York for the 2020 and 2022 editions respectively. He was also shortlisted for the 2022 Alpine Fellowship Visual Arts Prize in London, as well as the ANTOA Essay Prize in Africa. When he is not writing, he can be found researching, teaching, or reading the works of Christopher Okigbo, Isidore Diala, Soyinka, Adichie, Buchi Emecheta, and Ifesinachi Nwadike. His publications, The Baptism, a collection of 3 short stories, After Dusk Comes Dawn, See History, and Shakespeare Speaks Pidgin, are available on Amazon. We are reading a few of his poems that he submitted to us through the form at presentpoetry.com. This poem is called Clitory. Like a vandalized building beneath the blazing sun, she stood transfixed. Her face was damp and dry as those of leaves scorched by the blazing sun. "Who are you?" I asked. "My name is Mbek, and I have a story to tell," she began. Emotion slithered down her cheek, kissing the earth in calm protest. "Everyone knows that girls cry," she continued. "Do you know the clit cries too?" I dabbed the trickle of tears that rolled down her cheeks. One day it was, the day I was supposed to join my mates in high school, but Mama asked that I stayed back. I was barely 11, innocent and naive. "They are coming today," Mama said, words escaping her lips on tactical limbs, like cunning prisoners, gradually and steadily. A cynical smile sat on her face, like one scared of a chair brought forth to sit on. I felt something was amiss. Yes, I did. The entrance door creaked painfully as it was yanked ajar. I saw Auntie Nini alongside 2 other women, their faces, thrones to drab miens, arid, vapid smiles. I embraced Auntie Nini. She smiled the same way Mama did. There was something unusual about her fragile embrace. I felt safe and unsafe at the same time. "The inner chamber is set," Mama's voice rang across the yard. Auntie Nini disappeared with the women. Mumbled conversations engulfed the pot of anxiousness boiling in my mind. Mama reappears, walking like Angel Gabriel on a mission to herald John the Baptist's birth. She takes my feeble hands and leads me towards the inner chamber. Like a lamb about to be slaughtered, I felt like Isaac being led to the altar by Abraham. Laid supine, my eyes scan the ceiling for answers. Legs ajar like jaws of the great white in the deep blue sea. My eyes peek at the tray, bearer of blades of varying shapes and sizes, models on the runway. The hot water vents its words of steaming anger beside me. The fears within me exit my pores on their trickling, sweaty adventure. I try to make a way, my masses held steady by arms of false comfort. "Relax, it will be over soon. I did it too when I was your age." Auntie Nini reassured me with a smile. A genuine smile? No. a smile as false as the truth of politicians. And the scalpel was made to kiss my clit. This kiss deluged my eyes with a fountain of pain. Everyone knows that girls cry. Do you know the clit cries too? After a while, I was asked to keep my legs ajar, to allow the peppery comfort of the billowing breeze. My eyes, stabbed vigorously by the innocent tears from my clit, a garment to the floor, now being licked up by the fabric's woolly tongue. My eyes a reservoir of flowing pain, my clit in tears, red flowing tears. 20 years after, this missing rib has been unearthed by a comely pair, and now ready for a dance I have heard of, imagined and yearned for, a passionate dance on the nuptial sheets, but my clit still sheds a billion tears, unseen tears from silenced sensitivity. Everyone knows that girls cry. Do you know the clit cries too? Do you hear my voice, or is it choked by the watery limbs of tears? There are other mini-me's scattered like stones at a construction site, soon to dance to the Marleyan beat of this weird culture. Everyone knows that girls cry. Do you know the clit cries too? Your eyes are perching on these words like a dove on an olive branch, because they feel the pain between every letter, every word, every sentence. Be the voice, the dissonance anvil against this scalpel's dentition before it kisses more clits. And when you see these mini-me's, don't fail to give them priceless gifts. Give them a voice. Give them justice. Give them freedom. This poem is called Harvest of Skulls. Even now, just before the cockerel's crow tears the ambiance, before the millet slouches to dawn's eloquent hush, fear lays siege at our doorposts, standing like a silent masquerade at the mouth of our fields, our farms, its raffia breath soaring where dusk's blood river pooled, a waiting augury, a whisper of hoofbeats in dry earth. Out in the gallantly sitting yarn ridges, where hoes and machetes once cleaved sandy symphonies from the soft womb of the earth, green fingers linger, palms horizontal against the pregnant air, listening for the rape of dusk, for the sluggish syllable of slaughter. We have mastered the noisy footsteps of tranquility before hoofbeats, the fiery tongue licking thatch, how a man's name becomes a distant lore in the lamentations of widows. We are familiar with speech of machetes rising in the dark dusk's drape like unholy scriptures. We know, like the back of our palms, how a lad's last breath sounds like the thump soles of the wind leaving a broken flute. I reek of exhaustion, of this hush of burnt harvest, this never-ending night, this waiting migraine hanging in the entrails of the wind, heavier than unmade rains in the uterus of the skies. If fear has a fragrance, this is it. Palm wine soured by the foul fingers of absence, cassava left to putrefy, yams that only envision burials before their tendrils spear upward against the rind of the sky. They tell us not to go eye for an eye, not to avenge the machetes that laughed into defenseless civilians and made the ground a collage of their blood. The village square stands motionless like lips stitched shut. In the market, fewer grains sit on trays. Yams no longer rustle heaps to the ground. Fewer voices haggle hopelessly beneath the sun's blazing patience. Voices that forecast the agro-weather dissect the famine to come in dreadful whispers. The tomb granaries and silos, the death of the pestles, fluffy debate in the arid lungs of mortars. The idea of which sends chills down our spine at the thought of groaning bellies. Imagine the atmosphere dense with unspoken anxiety, old and young, male and female, sure of not being sure of the next second. Bloodthirst hooves lay siege at the entrance of unseen morrows. The reaper's stench hangs on the shoulders of the wind. Such a strange abode to exist, where food is a verse unsung, where Mother Earth, whose belly once sang hymns of plenty, now recoils and weeps in lyrics of emptiness. The untimely demised hoes number more than remaining seasons. Uncertainty perched upon hills like dark pregnant clouds. In a nation where white collars outnumber the steady declining green fingers, it is grotesque, the foreshadow seated on the horizon, whose comely smile reveals the talons of the famine that waits the miraged harvest to come. Marasmus and Kawashkur, its elder sibling, caw and glide in the skies like falcons waiting to swoop. Tell me what greater fear there is than the one breathing, supping, prepping, and marching upon the souls of injustice into the flanks of reality from those very lines and stanzas. O machete-bearing crusader of doom, does the blood spurting from the severed neck not prick your retinal sense of conscience with its thorn of precious pricelessness? Do we continue to bid unripe farewells to lads with ripe futures, while the black gowns and learned silks bask in the eloquence of silence? Do we wait for active biceps and triceps to fall in their prime before the gavel's vertical nod is heard? O goddess Justitia, when will the conquering edge of your sword be felt? This poem is called We Too Are Gods. When your mind has captured her nudity, laying supine on acres of encyclopedias, and your eyes only eaten her beauty in the parliament of imagination, you feel you've conquered her? Wait till you see the fluffy clouds winking with silent lightning, and the growing of thunder marking the disappearance of weeping skies, or palm fronds colliding in conspiracy, lured on by the billowing breezy beads of harmattan. Maybe when you witness the breaking of dawn heralded by tweeting of birds, crowing of cockerels, and swaying of dew-laden grasses, or the descent of dusk marked by a deluge of chirping melodies from the larynx of crickets and the moon's hide-and-seek game behind bamboo stems and giant iroko arms. Perhaps you might wait till you see maidens, whose feet and ankles clad in beaded glory reaffirm their mastery of the alphabets in the throat of the drums, or till you visit Idanre, the abode of Ogun, dweller of the hills, and Mother Idota's grotto, the abode of Okigbo's iron bell and stick, nature's pillow. Have your ears been littered with the trumpeting of elephants, roaring of lions, and chattering of monkeys in the safari? Or your eyes sighted antelopes priding themselves on swift, slender hinds, darting away from preying predators? Your ritual is a tapestry of awesomeness and intricate beauty, your rind, clad in splendor, alluring to a billion eyes. O Mama Africa, cradle of mankind! Leopold spilled on paper his witness of your black beauty, our blackness, beautiful black coals, Ibibio, Igbo, Ifik, Hausa, Tiv, Igala, Yoruba, Asante, Ewe, Fante, Twai, Masai, Himba, Zulu, Kojun, Ndebele, Samburu, and yours. We too are gods. This poem is called Shards of Gratitude and is dedicated to Rita Iwuagwu. Woman of iron wrists and dawn-swept resolve, how do I carve your person into breath? You who stitched uncertain dawns with the needles of toil, how do I speak of you and not summon the plop-plop rhythm of pestle on mortar, wrestling the mashed yam into smooth submission before their lumpy plunge into the hollow of my hunger? You, Mother, first oracle I knew, the deity that housed my liquid essence for 9 moons, first priestess of my becoming. You cradled the world in those spent palms, and still had the stamina to cradle me. I remember you would abduct me from the arms of slumber, and pilot me into the oracle of night, where the fluffy dark sky winks its billion eyes of stars at us like secret gods. There, in the ritual hide-and-seek game of the moon, your voice would reel out a chant, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star," while my tiny voice recaps in learning steps. Though I could barely discern rhyme from dirge, your words carved poetry into the bones of my ears and essence of my being. Now, at 30 seasons trod, I feel your eyes piercing my doubts like needle to a balloon. Your worry is the silent god that stalks me, yet you fold prayers into my clothes, tuck them in pockets like overlooked currencies. The syllables marching from your lips upon the boulevard of love. Have you eaten? Your voice, the balm that soothes my pain away. Your pot is a theater where stews dance like Michael Jackson. Condiments and flames conspire and bow to your culinary whims. Even gods would decast and kneel for a taste of your afang soup, for a spoonful of your jollof wisdom. Ah, Nanim, there are verses my ink can't confess, for they will always underemphasize your soul thumps. But these humble lines, etched upon this vast blank, are libations, not for grief, but for worship of Rita, a goddess still walking. Let the stars bear witness, the woman who sewed poems into night and cooked galaxies in her kitchen still walks among us, breathing fire into the bones of men. This poem is called Stillborn. It is of futility a foresight, to relate the Africa's giant future sight. Her skin, 6 decades old soon, has witnessed shades of pogroms under sun and moon. It has heard the voices of many seas, yet lands fertile with aridness is all she sees. Nibs of authority always ready to right, lies become true, wrong becomes right. Her anthem, a gyre of gambits, whose implication oozes in trickling tidbits. Perhaps the genesis of her sickness was the 1886 Berlin madness. Garage sick from phantoms, ghosts, bends, and Gulf streams. Economy healthy from a steady diet of rape and her screams. Reptiles gulp down tenders to their stretch, crowning the citizen a wretch. Today, like a dance in the market square, dancing in rhythmless circles become our share. Perhaps you see letters to be read. I see reality protesting in red. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Present Poetry Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to like us, leave a review, or share us on social media. If you are a poet or you know someone who is, we would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us or submit your work through our website, which is www.present-poetry.com. Again, that is www.present-poetry.com. We can't wait to hear from you.